episode of The Dream is Free. I'm your host, Mike. We've got Tony back there, and we have a very, very special guest here, folks. Josh Piezas is here, the founder and owner of ShadowPop Displays. Josh, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. We're just gonna get into it. We've been chatting up a storm since you got here. How do you like the space? Why don't you tell the folks a little bit about that since you've never been here before?
Mm-hmm. Oh my God, this is awesome. It's like walking back into my childhood, which is, I guess, in what I do now, it's like a privilege. I don't take it for granted, but this is my, I guess, brings me back to like the times that were all obviously always meaningful to you when you're growing up, and we lived in a world where there were physical things. Now, everything is digital.
Mm-hmm.
We can have all of our movies in a little box, and then that little box has to represent who you are. And it's very difficult to have one little box represent who you are. At least it's not apparent to those who look at you. But when you are in this world, this is what our rooms looked like growing up. Our rooms were filled with posters. Not that there aren't posters around now, but we had video cassettes lying around.
Mm-hmm.
We had all of our figures lying around, and it's. I think what you've done here is really a service to I will say, to my generation.
I'm glad. That's why I do
many generations.
I do sprinkle the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s because those generations I think are legendary in my eyes. But we met, and it's. I don't know when Rhode Island Comic Con was.
It was last November.
November.
I was gonna say September, but yeah,
it's crazy.
No, November 1st. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been so soon actually, and that was awesome. We immediately noticed your display because you had the big ShadowPop, one of one. I'm assuming that probably takes a little longer to make than these guys. And we met you there, and we met your friends, and it was all good vibes. And I'm glad we've maintained this relationship, and I'm excited to keep it going.
Absolutely.
We talk about a lot of stuff, but I do want to get into if you could take us to the beginning of Josh,
the origin story.
What it's like growing. Yeah, the origin story.
The origin story.
What your life was like growing up. In
what
Jersey.
state are you from?
Yeah. Renee's favorite land.
The entire episode about New Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Just what it was like growing up.
A great place to be from, as my wife says.
Yes, it is. I do like Jersey. Not as much as I say I like Staten Island more.
Hey.
And then obviously over here the most. And how did those early years shape you for today?
So I guess I have always been. I've always had an artistic gene inside of me. So I've always been very creative. I was.
Josh, if you could just pull the microphone a little bit closer.
Right.
Yeah, no worries.
The son.
Fistful.
Joe
Rogan.
Fist, there we go.
Yeah.
That's right. There
If
we
you
go.
need to lean, if you want to lean back, you could even pull it.
Pull
more.
it towards you.
Don't be
afraid.
Don't be afraid. You can go all the way.
Is it better?
Oh yeah, it's great.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't worry. If Michael hasn't broken it yet, you're not gonna break it.
Yeah, trust me, he's not lying.
I've always been creative, drawn my whole entire life. I have a portfolio that goes of my artwork going back to, I must have been like 3 or 4 years old, and
Wow.
I just saved pieces of paper. I've had drawings on tissue paper, a drawing on the back of wrapping paper. Anything that my brothers and I could find. There used to be these cardboard inserts when you brought clothes to be dry cleaned, they'd put a piece of cardboard in there. When we had no paper, we'd take those pieces of cardboard and just draw on that.
Oh, that's great.
And so there's always been art in our lives, but we've always had a practical side as well. My father being a doctor and my mother a nurse, they have their feet firmly on the ground. And so, when growing up, it was like, okay, how are you gonna merge art and the reality of life? You got to make money.
Yeah.
And so to me, that was when I started being inventive and creative and solving problems, that's when I realized I like this. I like, it didn't really form until a little bit later, until after my college years, but it's always been inside of me. I tell a story of my first after I graduated college, I had no job.
Where'd you go to college?
I went to Emory
Okay.
down in Atlanta, and went back home. And the problem at that time, recycling was just becoming a thing. And it's not done anymore, but there were newspapers. And after you read the newspaper, you had to bundle it up. And so there would be stacks of newspapers back in the 90s, and they had to be taken care of. So everyone had to take twine and literally create a bundle, a nice bundle, and then they would pick it up and recycle it. And that was a pain in the ass, and that was my responsibility. So that's when I had this, my first idea to create something was, hey, you know what? How about if we create this little mechanism that bundles the papers in like literally 3 seconds? It was a piece of twine with some cardboard hanger tubes on each end, and they interlocked. And literally, you could bundle the papers in like 2 seconds, and then you had a little carrying handle that you could then take out and it worked out to the curb. The problem was I didn't have the experience at that point to figure out how to take everything and just take it to the next level. You're, just by getting out of college and you have all this knowledge, there's life that you still need to live life and learn how to do all these different things. And my parents didn't know how to do this. And so, I tried to patent it myself and went through the whole process, but, reality started hitting in. I ended up getting, a job at Merrill Lynch, and I was like, that kind of went to the wayside. But there was, in some ways, the beginnings of like that thing that was in me, like, when I needed to create, I needed to solve problems, and that's like the first thing I did, So that is I consider that an important moment. The next important moment was when I was at Merrill Lynch, looking at my boss behind the big glass table, making lots of money, and having this moment where I was like, okay, if I'm sitting behind that table, am I happy? And that's when I realized, corporate America wasn't for me. And so after that, I went after another idea, which had always been a part of my family, which is entertainment. And I consider this one of the first real defining jobs that created a lot of my personality. It was a small movie studio called Troma. They were responsible for movies like The Toxic Avenger, cult classics, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Attack of the 50-Foot Woman, and I wanted to be in entertainment, and this place in Hell's Kitchen in New York City gave me a shot. I was licking envelopes until the one day I was called down, and my boss at the time, Michael Hers, said to me, he says, Josh, Harrison Cordestani is no longer here. Who's going to MIPCOM? And MIPCOM is this big convention in France where you license films. And I said, I'm going, Michael. I said, what? I said, I'm going. He says, good. That's what I wanted to hear. And so from that moment on, I just figured out, I knew I had to learn things very quickly, because I had to fly over to France. And I think at that point I was like 23,
Wow.
24 years old. And
Single back then?
single,
Yeah.
but given the opportunity to fly around the world, making deals, licensing films, it was an amazing experience. And for that, I will always be indebted to Lloyd Kaufman and Michael Hers for giving me that opportunity. But what I wanted to say is that it gave me this the ability not to be afraid to go out there, and because I was setting up shows like a booth with posters all around. I was figuring out ways to introduce myself to all the licensees, walking down the hallways and pitching Troma as a brand. And at the time, it was a really fun, funky brand. I was actually got the opportunity to be in a film. I was Vomit Boy in Romeo and Juliet.
That's
and,
cool.
Oh yeah, I've got. Actually, everyone's like, "You have an IMDb credit." I'm like, "Yeah, I know."
Yeah.
Vomit Boy, and I encourage everyone to look up Vomit Boy.
Definitely will. We definitely will.
So,
Definitely will.
but yeah, so I did that for quite some time, and I mean, I've got a million stories from that, and that's probably another show. Dressing up in a giant killer condom costume, it was a wild ride, but I did that for several years until the itch about product came back to me, and I started working at I got a job at a toy company, my first toy company in Long Island, and that's where I started to be exposed to this, the product, the creative product, making things. It was a kids craft company, so it wasn't just action figures. It was how to use raw materials to express your creativity. And I did a project, brought back this product called the Bedazzler, which I don't know if that's
Yeah.
Oh my God.
yeah.
Of course.
So I did the Bedazzler.
Oh my god.
I was got in onto the Rosie O'Donnell show, and
Wow.
and at the time, which she was a big,
Yeah.
a big figure.
Yeah.
But marketed that, and it was, that was an exciting time also for me being involved, and that's where I really started to learn the like how to work with China, the process of getting things made, lead times, rate determining, the whole like what determines what can you do in parallel while other things are happening. So that's where a lot of the operational organizational skills of products started to get filtered into me. And I did that for several years. Then 2001 happened, and had a little bit of a reevaluation, and that's when I went out to San Francisco and started a computer animation company with my brother. My brother was at Pixar, and at that time, everyone was trying to figure out how to make these CG movies, because every time you put out a CG movie, it was like you were making hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. So he and a bunch of other guys from Pixar started up this consulting company, but they all had creative passions, as did myself. But I was more the business guy in this venture. But as they were consulting and helping, like Warner Brothers or whoever it was to build their studio, we were creating content on the backside, and
What
we were.
content were you creating?
So we went to a show called Annecy, and we met a producer whose name is Lauren Bouchard. And Lauren Bouchard is the creator. Now he is big and famous. He's the creator of a show called Bob's Burgers.
Oh my God. Okay.
And so at the time, when we had met him, he had a bunch of things going on. He was writing and whatnot. My memory is a little hazy, but we started working together. He was in San Francisco, and he had a vision for a show called Lucy, the Daughter of the Devil. And so we started working together. My brother was really the driving force on that one. But we ended up making an arrangement, and we ended up doing making the first, I guess it's a pilot, called the pilot, for Cartoon Network, the first CG animated film for Adult Swim. So it's called Lucy, the Daughter of the Devil, and then it got picked up, and then eventually went into a series. By that time, I had moved on. I actually, for various reasons, I'm not gonna, everyone knows when you're working with family, sometimes it's it can be a little tumultuous, but we did that for several years until I realized, my calling was not on the West Coast, and I ended up coming back to the East Coast and working at a company, another craft company that ended up being Martha Stewart Crafts. And so I ended up working for Martha Stewart, helping launch her craft company, at Walmart and Michaels.
Wow.
Love Michaels.
Yeah, I was in I was in the tools division, and so we were creating lots of paper punches. At that time, there was something called scrapbooking. I don't know if you, before the iPad was invented, if you wanted to look at memories, you had to go to an album
Yes.
and open up the album, and people would decorate these albums with stickers and whatnot, or they would use paper punches to create some more ornate effects within the paper and whatnot. But that was an exciting time. That's where I started to really get into traveling into to Asia and going out to China and working directly with the factories. But it was
What's that like, going over there and doing that process?
Oh, I love it. I love making things. I love seeing how things are made. So for me, and I come from a very multicultural family. My father's from the Philippines. I still have a lot of family in the Philippines, and so where some would find it, it's a little, grinding to be out in China. To me, I don't know. Maybe it's that Asian genetics in me.
Yeah.
But I found that I could feel very much at home in the factories, the way they lived their life, the way they ate, and it was very familiar to me. And so going overseas was never a grind. I always enjoyed working with the factories, building those relationships. It was good. It was good. But yeah, just that whole experience with Martha Stewart. Learning how to work with licensors, particularly very difficult licensors. I've got a lot of fun stories on that one also. And then so then that starts bringing me into the real product world. And then after that, then I started working in a company called NECA, which is well known for action figures, collectibles, games. The gentleman who owns the company, Joel Weinschenker, is actually from Clark. So he's a local boy also, but I have a lot of respect for him in the way that he built an empire from the stories that I hear out of the back of his car. In fact, when he went to one of my favorite delis is Deli King in Clark, and he tells of how he knows Joel. I guess they went to high school together. How he would be selling stuff out of the back of his car when he started bringing in product on 18-wheelers to his house in the suburbs. But
Can I
anyway.
interject real quick?
Yeah.
Can we get a company count on how many different companies?
Well, he's got more. I know that for a fact.
What's that?
The amount of companies that you've worked at.
Yeah, well, I'm a little bit older than you guys. I've had the time to be at all these companies.
And I know you've also done. You mentioned it before, not here, but when we met, actually on the phone. This was on the phone. But I'm not gonna say it because I know you're eventually gonna Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh well, so that was at NECA.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
cool, cool.
WizKids. I worked at the game division of WizKids, and so I had a hand in bringing millions and millions and millions of figures, RPG figures, to market, and that was one of the inspirations in some way for what I'm doing. One of the incarnations of the ShadowPop is the shelf display. And, after I had left Denim and I was thinking about how much product was out there, I was like, well, wait a second. People want to display this stuff and not everyone can have this beautiful acrylic, glass electrified display. So this is a way that, we can offer a service to the market. So that was my experience there, was bringing a lot of that product to market. So
going through this whole process, were there any mentors of yours, as you've?
Yeah, so I will give a lot of credit to Michael Hers and Lloyd Kaufman. Those were the first guys. They're the ones that gave me the opportunity to not be afraid to work alone. To work on my own. To what it is to spearhead, especially when you're that young. They gave me that support and that experience at that time. So I'm always indebted to them. I'm trying to think other people that I've always people who have been my mentors have been my fathers and my father and my uncle. They are the epitome of the type of person that I try to emulate. Other models. I'm a big believer. Sometimes I believe there's a lot of strength within you, and you just need to know. It's it's not like there's always people that help you and that guide you. And I as I'm talking, the certain circumstances will come back, because it's not like, sometimes it's not a global thing. It's very specific. You know, there will be a part of your life in which they are your mentor.
Exactly. Yes.
So
yes.
yes.
I guess a challenge you faced before starting ShadowPop, and how'd you overcome it to prepare you for, you know, what was to come?
Well, my separation from my last company was not mutual, so to say. But it made me realize that there's something going on here, because I don't want to get back into a situation like, I know what I can do, and you know, I was thinking, do I just leverage all this stuff and just go in and just get the next job? And I wasn't sure if that's what I wanted to do. I had enough experience in life to know that, you know, this is probably just going to happen again. You know, after you help build something. I'm maybe a little bit too naive, that I've always believed that when you help build something, you can partake in the rewards of it. But but you know, maybe that's a little naive. But you know, that's why I just decided, well, look, if you're going to build something, let's build something for yourself. And that's when I decided, when I was struck with the ShadowPop idea, you know, the question was, do I go out and do I license it? Do I, you know, just use that as a leverage to, you know, become part of something else? Or do I really believe in this enough and see that it has enough scale and enough market that I could build this into something that could sustain me and my family, you know? And so I made the decision that I think this is something, you know? So that's when I decided, you know what, let's throw yourself into this. Let's like live and breathe it, because that's the only way that I know how to be involved in business, is not to just, you know,
Do it on weekends.
check it in, just, you know, phone it in. That's not who I am. And I'm glad I've taken this leap now. You know, the story's still being written. I don't know what's going to happen. I know I've got 2 kids that are growing, and with college bills coming up, but I feel very positive about, you know, how we're working. And as long as that the directionally the positive, it's positive, we're going to keep trekking along, singing the gospel, you know, because I see people believe in ShadowPop. It's been amazing.
I love the product. What gave you? So did you design the idea? Like, how did that come about for ShadowPop?
So yeah. So after my last employment,
At NECA.
Yeah. So after my last employment, you know, was thinking about what to do. Again, I had realized that there's lots of stuff out there. Like our industry is about things and stuff, and so I had that idea of displaying and storing figures, but then I realized, what if you could do it with other things? What if it could work for action figures and comic books and all that? And that's when I started cutting up FedEx boxes. I still have photos of my prototypes that I would cut out of FedEx boxes to see if I could structurally get this into the shape that I wanted to, with enough like rigidity and simplicity that the average person would be able to do it. And I got it to the point where I was like, you know what? I think this is something. So, you know, I went and I did a provisional patent, which is a very simple process. You know, you can, if you're a small guy, you can do it yourself. I think it costs you $60 to submit a provisional patent. You file as a small entity, and then after that, I went out and started working with some factories that I found, and they refined it a little bit more. They were like, yeah, this works, but we might have to do this, that, and the other thing to get that to be more stable. And but finally, when we started looking at the prototypes, we're like, this is something. This is real. You know, this is a product. And again, that's when you know, it was like, let's go. But yeah, I mean, it was out of my whole tinker. Like, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. I don't talk theoretically about, like, I wonder if you could do this. Like, I go to Michael's, I get on Amazon, I buy it, I cut it up. You know, I've got a lot of like broken things in my house that I save just because they can be utilized for other things. And so that was part of this, you know, like, you know, when I launched this new accessory, the ledge extender, you know, I go back downstairs into the basement, and I think, you know, I have that ADD brain, and I've always been like, ADD is like a superpower if you can utilize it the right way, because
I agree.
it allows you to make connections that others might not necessarily be able to make. Because when your brain is so organized, you know, and you put everything neatly into a filing cabinet, you never see two pieces of paper next to each other. They just don't exist next to each other. But when your brain is like a messy desk, sometimes you get to see, oh wow, wait a second, that's a kind of a new idea. So that's how a lot of what, you know, how I create occurs is just I guess it's just a function of having that chaotic mind.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. Trust me. I think Renee hates it, but it's all right.
Well, I think you were saying messy desk, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I understand what you're saying, where it's like, you know, the synapses in your brain start firing. Is that right? We start firing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, there you go.
And, you know, like you said, you see things that, oh, you know, maybe people don't see just yet, but then when the final product is there, they're like, oh, I get it now.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
What's been so far, because it's so early, and you've been hustling, you know, you've been to so many cons, but what's been the most rewarding part so far, aside from obviously having this awesome product? 'Cause I freaking love it. And
Sorry,
backtrack real quick about this. What made you want to go cheap and for consumers? Not for you. Like for consumers, because it's more affordable than, like you said, LED display that, you know, maybe a more well-off collector would have at their place.
Well, I had a hand in selling while I was at NECA these cardboard storage boxes for comics, and I had always been intrigued by that form factor. Cardboard is such a cool substance, you know, in terms of like how you're able to work with it. You don't need to have like dangerous tools, you know. It's something that, and yet at the same time, while you're working with it, you create something that is structurally very significant. You know, it's not like building something out of paper and it's got to be delicately handled. It's a very robust material, and so I've always been intrigued by that. And it's relatively inexpensive. I was also intrigued by the idea of digital printing, which is the idea of having a printing factory that is built on the idea of a giant inkjet printer. So these printers, generally, to get economy of scale, to get a low price, you need to have a litho, and it's printed with plates, and so you have these plates. And they are very economical, but when you buy 25,000 units, these digital printing presses, they can put out something. You can make an individual. This unit that we're looking at here could be one of 10, you know, and you don't need any plate. It's basically the printer printing right on the cardboard, and it's very economical, so that's saving the cost of printing plates that would need to be, passed on to the consumer. Obviously, there's a balance between litho and digital printing, but I was totally intrigued by the fact that you could do low runs of designs. And so the question that you'd asked is, how did I land on the inexpensive form factor? So when I started thinking about, okay, what can I do that is a new product to display things, I kind of went back to this form factor, and because I knew it was relatively inexpensive. I knew I could produce it in the USA, and that's something I don't really talk about, but
Yeah.
You know, our product is made in the USA.
Yeah, there we go.
And,
America.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you know, I my whole entire life it's very ironic. I have all these
Yeah.
contacts in China.
Yeah.
And it's such deep contacts, and the first product I launched
It's in America.
But and that's
But you could.
But exactly. Yeah, I just knew it would be an inexpensive form factor, and that's what I was going for. I wanted to be something for the every person. You know, that it wouldn't be such a consideration. Do I buy this? Do I not buy this? I've seen people blow $10, $15, $20 on something that is less important to them than this. So I felt that it was a natural material to work in. So
I think it's smart because not everyone can afford. Like when you go to a con, for example, it's smart because you're going to grab, let's say, those Ninja Turtles. They're 1 of 10 right there.
Yeah.
They're not, but I'm saying at the con, for example, and you're spending a pretty penny because they're 1 of 10 at the con. It's like San Diego Comic-Con special. So then you're like, oh, and then you see this and you're like, oh, this would be so cool to display my turtles on there. And it's like, how much are these? And you're like, XYZ. You're like, well, I could do that, instead of it being like expensive. And then it's like, I got those. I don't know if I want it, but I don't know, So it is a very smart idea.
No, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no problem.
What was the response after that first Comic-Con to your product?
Oh, well, that's what gave me the energy.
That was my next question. but
Yes,
it's
the energy to keep
joking.
going.
all right. It was, though.
And you would also ask me like
Most memorable moments.
the most memorable moments, which this kind of they dovetail together. But I was saying that one of the skills that I got from my trauma experience was just the ability to pitch. And
Yes. Tony said that when we met. You were very good at.
So I love
doing that.
I love pitching, and that's particularly when I'm at these local toy shows, I'm standing up, and it's very fortunate. I have a new story to tell. That's what's exciting. I have never been a Me Too kind of guy. Like I can't if someone's selling something, and that's probably the bad business guy in me. I'm like, yeah, great. Let that be yours. Like, I love pitching something that's new, and that's probably why I enjoyed the trauma experience so much. Is no one else wanted to be part of this like culty, schlocky, B movie kind of experience. It was new, and it was a great pitch. It was novel. And I got that whole thing for like, let's pitch something that's new and novel. And so when I'm doing that at these shows, one of the greatest moments, you asked me, what's that memorable moment, is when I see someone's like the light bulb. I can literally see the light bulb over their head go off when I'm doing my pitch and talking about why this makes sense for them, how they can activate their collection and all the things that they love, and how they can glorify it at a very, inexpensive price point. And they're getting it, and when they're looking at the samples, and I see that light go off on their head, it's like I can almost see the glimmer in their eyes, and I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
that's what excites me. Is like when you see that those are the moments like at that very on a granular level that I live for, like that, and it can, and I get that rush out of it to keep going, to find that next glint in their eye when like you feel like you sold them. And it's an education process when you go to these shows. Like for me, I know, no one. It's not like oh, ShadowPop, I get it. So whoops, sorry.
It's okay.
I get it, and it's not like that. I have to explain, and to me, I love the education. I love talking to people, so I get a rush and a thrill out of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun venture for you, for sure. I guess before we continue, what is like a typical day? And we'll say, I know. With let's say with a con coming up and all that jazz, as a founder, how are you involved in the day-to-day operations? You're like, I am the day-to-day.
I am.
Yeah.
I am the day-to-day operations.
It's Josh, man.
That's right. So, and if I don't operate, there are no day-to-day operations.
Yeah.
It is just me, but what's been amazing is that
He's got good friends.
I've got amazing friends, and
Since childhood.
yeah. So and as this starts to gain momentum, I think there are a lot of my friends. Like in fact, most recently, I've been working with another friend. I mean, he's a friend that went out of my life and then came back in. He was actually the friend of my younger brother. I've known him since he was 7 years old, and now he has grown a significant Amazon business for himself. He's like, Josh, I love this product. I want to help you. Let's figure out how to do this on Amazon. And I was, oh my God, thank God, because I had met Amazon and at the show, and they're like, this product needs to be on Amazon, and we want to help you. But like, I know what I'm good at, and sitting in front of a computer grinding, which I find that in this world, sometimes that's what it is. Like when you're selling online, it's like grinding with the search terms and the SEO. And
I know.
And I am not that guy. But he's like, let's figure out how to do this. There is something here, and we just need to noodle it and figure out how we can do this. So he came into life. But beyond that, I think you've met my friend Matt and Jay and Damien and Grant, and I don't know who else I'm forgetting, but they are all there. Mark, they're all there supporting me. I've known them since I was 12, 13 years old. And they are all bringing a different skill set. Some have been CFOs of companies, and they don't want to be doing that anymore. And so they're like, Josh, let's get this to work, because make this happen. Like, I'll handle the CFO stuff, whatever it is. And I mean, I would love for that to happen. That would be a great thing, and bring in my family. I know my brother. This has been a phenomenal for me and my family. My youngest brother, because we're so far apart in age. He's 7 years younger. Sometimes, like, right when he was coming into his own, not being a little kid, I was off to college. So, and we never had that overlap of things where there was a common interest. And now all of a sudden, like, he's taken a great interest in this, and I call him and we talk, now more than ever. And it's really been like, if for nothing else, it's been, that for rekindling that between me and my little brother. I am very,
How many siblings do you have?
I have 2 brothers.
Okay, cool. So you don't care about the other one as much.
Well, I have a very good relationship, because he and I are 18 months apart.
Okay,
so we were always
doing stuff together.
We were always at that same point in life.
I'm just teasing. I know. You haven't
I'm not dissing you. I'm not dissing you, Seth. I'm just saying, like, we've always been a little bit more simpatico.
He definitely knows that. He knows. Seth, you got competition, Seth, with younger bro, with the baby bro. Well, that kind of segues for ShadowPop displays. Where do you see it in 5 years? Do you have new products you have in mind? Yep, that's all right. He definitely does. And what are you excited to explore going forward?
Well, this journey, you never know, and I love the fact that I don't know where it's going to go, but I feel like it's going to go in the direction that I feel good about. Now, where do I want it to go? Obviously, I want this to be financially successful. It's one thing to market and get excitement, but there's a business reality, and we need to make that happen. The product side, I'm so excited, because that's where I can see that the path that gets us to where we want to go. I was just telling you earlier that we have these new accessories called the Ledge Extender, that brings out the action.
I can't wait.
Even out of the box. And if you go to my Instagram at ShadowPop Displays, you can see some of these things that like how much more dynamic the display is when you've basically what it is an acrylic plate that is 2 inches wider than the actual shadow box. So you can put figures. There you go. There's a couple good ones that Hulk Hogan one, or even the Spider-Man one.
Yeah, I love that. I can't. He's going to send us a couple, Tony. So we're definitely going to be doing some fun stuff with it.
Yeah. So whenever anyone sees with the Ledge Extenders, they're like, and I am coming to see that's an integral part of the product. That Ledge Extender brings it out, and so now it's just far more dynamic.
Very cool.
Not that it
Yes.
wasn't dynamic before; it's just got even poppier. As
Yeah,
you know,
I love it.
It got even poppier, so it's great. It's
No,
great.
I really do. It's awesome.
We've got that ledge. You can see that Pokemon thing. That
Oh, yeah, I like
Pokemon
that.
display.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's not the ledge.
That's not
I
the
mean, that's
ledge.
not the shelf. I'm trying to think if I've got a display on my Instagram that has got the shelf on there.
That Joker Batman one is cool.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah,
There you go. One of that Joker Batman. Yeah, that's a cool one. I get a lot of compliments on that one.
Go back. I think he wanted you to go to the Funko one.
Yeah, that.
Oh, this one
Funko
right here?
Yep,
Yeah.
that Funko
Oh,
one.
there we go.
That one's got the. I believe that's got. Is that the legend there?
Mm.
No, that's not got the ledge. All right, so that's telling
It's
me
still cool.
I got to get photos up there.
Yeah,
All right, I'm not prepared. Oh, there we go, right there, the Mario Brothers one.
Mario Brothers, right
there
here.
we go.
How ironic.
There
How
it is.
ironic, the Mario
You
Brothers.
clicked the wrong one,
I
Tony.
clicked the wrong one?
Yeah,
No, I
it's all right.
didn't.
We figured
Oh.
you. Oh,
No,
Oh, it's a video.
it's a
video.
video.
It's a
Oh,
video.
it's so embarrassing.
it is.
But
There we go.
You can see that the.
Yeah, very cool.
Yes.
There's that ledge.
Oh, I
So
can't
that's
wait.
the ledge, and then
Double
the
ledge.
shelf.
Yeah, the shelf.
There's a shelf that's over the ledge, and that's what is supporting the video game.
Very
See, that's
cool.
very cool.
I like that.
Yeah, so with the new, like, we have so many comic books here that I can't wait to put into Shadow Pops because it's just going to make everything look so much better, especially out there. We have a bunch of like, one side is Marvel and the other is DC, Batman Boulevard.
Yeah.
And so I'm really pumped to decorate it. And they know
Yeah.
they know I go crazy when I get, like, in a mission to do something. I'm like,
No, it's a great way to display. In fact,
Yeah.
I've been talking to, and I believe that they do displays, and I don't want to jinx the deal that we're working on, but I've been working with the National Hip Hop Museum in Washington
oh,
D.C.
cool.
And they expressed their interest to utilize these as, showcasing different things that that they want to glorify. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so pumped for you. I really am. I'm glad we met you in the beginning, so you'll talk to us.
That's big time.
Yeah. They're like, hey, I called Josh. It's like, ignored. I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then I call back. It's like, this number doesn't exist anymore. That's weird. I was just like,
No,
really cool with him.
no, that would never happen.
Yes.
Do people? Oh, thanks, Tony. Do people send you like cool photos of how they display
That's a
their stuff?
good idea.
Were you like anyone that stands out?
Yes, I do get photos. In fact, some of them that are collaborations. I learned from you
Yes.
the idea of collaboration.
Yes, yeah.
And so yes, I have some items that I need to hit collaborate so that they go into my stream. But yes, I have.
We're going to be posting photos, so make sure you hit collaborate from
absolutely,
this. Yeah.
absolutely.
Renee will get mad at you.
Absolutely.
No, I will not.
Yes.
Mike likes to depict this. Renee gets angry.
Tony
I'm
knows.
a very happy, positive person.
She is, but you don't want to see her, you don't want to get on her bad side. I'll tell you that.
Well, you know us Jersey folk. You guys.
That's
We know
right.
how to stand our ground.
You want us to get Jersey on you?
Yeah, I know. God forbid the shore comes out.
Wait, do you go to the Jersey Shore?
I do, but it's not like where I go. We've always gone down south. My family likes tropics. We like it really hot. So
Yes.
so we've gone down to South Carolina.
Nice. That's way better. Yeah.
And that's where we'll shore.
Yeah.
Down at the beach.
I had to ask.
She's obsessed with the Jersey Shore. She
Long Beach Island is my favorite place in the entire world.
she claims like there's like a
It's better than
mystical
any
element
island.
there.
It is fun. The Jersey Shore is fun. But
You can go like so many different shore points have different vibes, different feelings. There's family friendly. There's party. There's desolate. Feel like
Yes.
you're like have your own island to yourself. Lot of live music and down the shore.
Jersey is a very diverse place. We're always commenting on the fact that for such a small state, you've got farmlands, you've got the metropolitan areas, you've got the mountains. You go down south. The mentality of South Jersey is so different than you go the center or up west. And it's just so diverse.
It is, and every time we go there, the title "The Garden State" does do it justice. It's very green and luscious.
It's not, for those who fly into Newark, it's not. Newark is not.
Yeah.
Is not the defining factor of Jersey.
No.
And what's the area when you cross over the bridge?
Where
to
it smells
Saraville?
like
I think
poo.
it's by Saraville.
Yes.
Or Old Bridge.
Yes.
That there's all the sewer stuff there.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, oh, it smells. But
Yes.
it is what
It's
it
funny
is.
because when Renee comes back, we get a little smell of it every time. She still has a little smell on her.
I didn't mean to take over this conversation to talk Jersey, but you know,
it's okay.
It
I'm
had to
always
be
down
done.
to talk Jersey.
So I have a couple more questions. You offer 15% off first orders, right?
Yes, I will. I will offer that now.
I guess I was wrong. I guess my research is wrong, but it was just to emphasize. I thought for community building.
Yes.
And-
The answer is yes.
Yeah, okay,
Now
cool.
I just have to get that discount code.
Yeah.
into-
I think that's a good idea. You're welcome, everybody out there. Because I think that's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
I mean, like, yeah.
It's a very good idea.
Yeah.
I need
Everybody, you're welcome. How do you see the Shadow Pop community growing in the future?
Oh, well, I mean, I would love everyone to share. I mean, their ideas. I mean, that's the easiest way is just look. No one's got a patent on a great idea for how to glorify a particular collectible or whatever it is, and I put all of my ideas up online and they're always growing because I want everyone to to feel like, oh, I can do that. And so I would like my community to feel the same way, where they're uploading,
tagging,
and tagging, inspiring, and hey, have you thought about, one of the things that I'm working on now is because I've, my crafty side of me, like, I'm tearing up a few shadow pops to make them a little bit more unique. And I'm gonna post soon, so I don't want to give too much away. But it'll be a good way to display Transformers, which is my guilty pleasure.
Oh, cool!
That's my thing.
We've got some Transformers VHSs down there.
That's
and Beast
my
Wars.
thing. I'm a Transformers guy.
Nice.
So.
We heard that I don't know if you saw the Shia LaBeouf Transformers from back in 08 maybe.
Yeah, sounds about right. Early mid-2000s.
That was like dubbed the best movie out of the Transformers series, live action.
The Shia LaBeouf one.
Yeah, and apparently they're bringing him back, so I'm kind of pumped for that if they do, because
back.
they've kind of been going a little downhill with their
Yeah,
movies.
I mean, after
Transformers
really after
1,
second
the cartoon
honestly.
though, Transformers 1.
Oh yeah,
we did enjoy
saw,
that.
That was a good time. Yeah,
Well,
it was a
are you
great
talking
time.
about the animated movie?
Yeah,
or
yeah.
the
The prequel.
The prequel to Transformers. It came out maybe a couple years ago.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you weren't going back to the
Not the original.
No, we
animated
have that.
series.
We have
No,
the
no, no.
original animated
That
series.
movie was so
the
defining.
film.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
yeah.
that animated movie that when Optimus Prime died. I mean, like,
Tears.
I don't want to say it, but there was a tear. I mean, it was a shocking moment to see Optimus Prime die.
Yeah.
Oh,
no,
gosh.
I think with Shia and Transformers 1, if you haven't seen Transformers 1, you should watch it.
Okay.
It's good. You would like it.
I feel like there's this whole black hole in my life when I had kids, and I loved all this stuff, but like then
You
all
can
of a
watch
sudden,
it with them too.
I know,
Yeah.
and now I do, and that's a great part about where I am in my life is they're at the age where they are totally appreciating everything that I grew up with.
Yep.
That's
and
great.
we can appreciate things together. I can give them my Transformers now, and they're not going to end up in 5 pieces.
Yeah.
I tried to bring them into that world a little too early.
And you were like, no.
And poor Hound, he
Destroyed.
He got destroyed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Hound. I'm sorry.
I was actually just looking at our Shadow Pops up there, and there's one with Courage the Cowardly Dog voice actor DVD box and SWAT Cats VHS. I custom made that one technically.
Oh yes,
because it's supposed to have a what are they? When I was doing the video, I couldn't remember what these were called.
Oh, the inserts.
No, there's something else.
I don't know. Look at me. I don't remember. The video.
This is my term that I'm forgetting.
Yes, it is.
The shelf supports.
Shelf supports.
The shelf supports.
Yeah. I took one out in the middle to fit.
So let me tell you something. I'm very proud of you. And
Thank you.
This is that's part of the community. I don't want them to be afraid to mess with this because it is cardboard. And what you did was you took out those supports, you took out the shelves, and you made it work for you. And that's really what I want people to do. I want them to be like, hey, you know what? I like this, but what if I tore up the cardboard a little bit more and made it look like blast shots? You know, or what if I made?
Oh, I see. That's cool.
It's a craftable material, and so I have always just been like, do it, like do something to it.
Yeah, everybody tag ShadowPop Displays in your stories, I would say. Because you don't want to collaborate with everyone. No offense, everybody. It's just because you want to keep your feed, clean and
symmetrical.
Yeah, be selective with who you collaborate with, but definitely tag ShadowPop Displays. Show off your displays. You could even do on your Instagram where it's like you have highlights. I'll show you. We'll show you after.
You gotta be like my Sherpa.
Well, we'll help you out. But you could, you'll put them all there, and people could, be featured forever on there, which is a great idea. What's one lesson from building this business that you'd pass on to someone just starting their own entrepreneurial journey?
Don't give up.
Yeah.
Believe. I mean, a lot of things in life are faith. I think, we think, that there are roads and they lead to certain places, and those are, for some people, that's what they need. But if you have an idea and it's not proven, you just have to get up in the morning believing in yourself that you'll find the solutions to the problems, because there are always challenges, there are always problems, but those aren't necessarily signs like, oh, it's time to give up. You got to turn away. That comes from with you, and you know the answer. But I think the big thing is have faith, believe in yourself. You'll know what needs to happen, and how far you can go. But as long as you're getting up every single day and you've got the energy, and that's what I find is like I get up every single day and I'm happy and anxious to tackle problems, and solve them. That's what it is. It's not a wall. It's a problem to solve. And if you look at it as a problem to solve, then nothing, it'll keep you motivated because you just know it's another thing I need to solve. So always take away from that. And the other thing is if you are inspired in that way and it happens to you a little bit younger, all the better, because you need a lot of energy to make something, an entrepreneurial venture happen, to prove something to the world. It requires a lot of energy. And I feel like I've got that energy, but I had a lot more energy 10, 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's funny.
Right when you guys are doing it. You guys are perfect to be like doing what you're doing.
It's funny because when this first began, and my mom's the opposite of, she's more, which there's nothing wrong with it. And it's like, get a 9 to 5, have, a structured job, basically, like the classic route. My father, on the other side, is more entrepreneurial, and she's like, because she goes, you should work for someone, and then in 20, 30 years, start your own business. And then my dad's like, do it now.
Do it now.
Like, you're not going to want to do it in 20, 30 years, so... And also, it'd be weird if if it was like I call Tony in 30 years. Dude, let's start it up. He's like, dude, I'm going to bed next to my wife. I'm like, oh, it's over, bud.
Yeah, and you need to have very supportive people around you. I have to give a shout out to my family.
Yes,
who've been incredibly supportive, particularly my wife.
I was gonna say,
she has been amazing throughout all of our years together, but particularly during this time, which is a hard time, but she's keeping the ship going while I'm building something, and she recognizes that we're building. We're not just wasting. We're we're tangibly building something
Yeah.
together. So
Yeah, those women don't exist anymore, by the way. So you're very lucky. Yeah.
is that right?
No, yeah,
that's
they're
not
not out
true.
there.
That's
Yeah.
not true.
No, I haven't seen one in that forever actually. So that's good for you. I'm happy for you. Me and Tony are just gonna be like, I now pronounce you Chuck and Larry. Just reap tax benefits.
Well, not anymore now.
We'll prove it. As the company grows, this is my second to last question. How do you want to stay true to the origin vision of ShadowPop Displays? Because you are going to grow. Are you going to try to keep the price? Are you going to, the same? Are you going to keep the product, integrity the same?
Well, I think one of the core philosophies
there we go.
of the business is, I mean, it's about creativity. It's about. I believe that there's creativity in all of us. Even if it's as I say during my pitch, once you've built this, completing it could be as simple as putting a figure on the shelf. Now that's creative for some people, and if that's what gives them satisfaction of completing something, that's all that's all they require. That's wonderful. I'm happy for them. For those who want to build something more extravagant, but I guess I want my core philosophy of creativity to be a part of whatever we do in the future. That I empower consumers to feel like, oh, I don't need to buy a $150, pre-made thing. Like, I have the ability to make it, to think a little bit, to get the components and build something that scratches that itch. And I don't know where that means that will go. I mean, right now we're focused on glorifying and it's honestly, it's not just pop culture. I mean, the action figures and comics. I have a lot of displays that people use for concert memorabilia or sports memorabilia.
Definitely.
So that those are possibilities as well, and that gets more into mainstream market where everything that doesn't need to be, you can have something meaningful. I just you get back from like the Taylor Swift concert, and I think I have a Taylor Swift thing up on my Instagram, or I'm not sure, but is there a Taylor Swift? Maybe not.
Oh, there it is.
There it is. That you could bring this into, you can make that part of your creative life.
Very cool.
I think I saw this in Mike's room actually.
So again, I want it to be not just pop culture, but I want it to be more mainstream culture as well. Because even I have got a partner of sorts who is like, hey, this would be great to pet tributes. If you have a pet and you can glorify that pet in these shadow boxes, and because not a lot of people, a lot of our country, they don't have this money to spend $50 on a really nice Etsy display. This gives them the ability to create something that is meaningful to them, that glorifies a part of their life that was meaningful to them, their pet, the dog that passed. So there are so many ways to utilize this, and eventually we'll get into, really, I hope we get into promoting these. But for right now, the market that I know is where we're creating our base, and then we'll branch out from there. But it's exciting, and I just appreciate you guys seeing the vision and having me on to talk about,
No, you're great.
So.
No, you're great. We love you. You are great. You're easy to talk to. Definitely someone Tony would want to get a beer with, because I don't drink right now, but definitely would want to hang out. And then I guess you kind of answered my last question, which is, what's the legacy you would want to leave behind? Because you kind of just answered it. I feel like it's creativity. Yeah,
I guess I want to leave that. Well, look, especially when you get to be my age, you start seeing we're all mortal, It was great when we were younger and we have that feeling of immortality, but now it actually makes things more meaningful, because I see that, we have friends that are getting older, and now the little cracks in the wall are starting to happen to all of us when we get into up there. But I want to leave a legacy of that. I made a difference, and my difference, I want to be the feeling that people have creative energy inside of them, even those that feel that they don't, that like that's not me. I don't believe that. I've never believed that. It's in all of us. It's just a matter of whether you want to tap into it, and tap into it big or tap into it small. So, but it's in there.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's great. All right, let's make some ShadowPop displays.
All right.
Oh
I'm
boy.
excited. So it's a friendly competition.
No, it's
folks.
not.
Yes, it is. Because he does these all the time. First of all.
Oh, so you're trying to make excuses already? I think sounds like it.
You could. You wanted to do the bottom one, I think, right? Or was it?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It doesn't matter.
Tony's gonna adjust the cameras real quick. I guess I'll wait because I don't want to start. That'd be cheating.
So are we starting from like where we got to pop
Yes,
it out? We got to
yes,
start from the very beginning.
Yes, from the beginning. The origin.
The origin of ShadowPop. Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious to see your technique, and then you'll see mine.
Yeah, I'm curious.
You ready?
Yeah, we're ready
Do
when
you
you
have
are.
like any music or anything?
Do you want some music?
Yeah, why not?
Let's see what I could give you here. I got some music here.
What's good race music? My kids used to run around to Root Beer Rag.
Oh, really? Well, I don't have any Billy Joel here. I'm sorry.
Oh, but you know Root Beer Rag.
Of course, yeah, big Billy Joel fan.
Yeah.
You know?
All right.
I got the sports pour stuff out here, so I guess
That's
I can give you some NBA tonight.
Yeah, let's
NBA?
do it.
There you
Yeah.
go. Let's do it.
Here we
Yeah,
go.
all right, here we go.
Here we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer.
Yeah.
He's ridiculous.
Oh, I love Hans Zimmer.
Burger King.
Yes.
So Hans Zimmer did the score for a movie called Backdraft.
Okay.
Never seen it.
We have it on VHS, I'm pretty sure.
We
Yeah.
do.
Yes.
Well, I'm gonna
And
watch
that's
it.
when I took notice of Hans Zimmer. But interestingly, I think Hans Zimmer was part of a group called the Buggles,
Okay.
who they did a song. The Buggles did a song called "Video Killed the Radio Star."
Oh, okay. I know that song.
So, but I'm a big.
I'm falling behind.
Oh boy, focus, Michael.
Well, no, I mean he's
He's having a little conversation with me, and he's
and he's
already
still
almost
going fast.
Oh.
But it's all right. It's fun. And the thing I love about these folks is the fact that you're creating and you're building your display. I
Yeah.
think that's the most fun part.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of it just being here.
It is, and honestly, I mean, I do offer the idea of selling these displays assembled, but part of me is I want people to feel the value of building something,
Yes.
creating something. That's it. I mean, maybe again, as it goes back to my roots, where I sold kits where you made stuff.
Yeah.
So
No, I love it. It's so much fun.
Looks like you're having fun.
there we go.
Oh man.
See, what I do is I fold all the stuff.
Yeah.
I like to, because it helps when you build it to get the grooves all good.
Do you feel like you're in the groove right now?
A little bit. It's coming back. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. He's almost done.
Yeah. It hasn't even been close.
That's impressive.
As I said, I've done this 1,000 times. There is actually a really good sequence to doing this, and I really do recommend following that sequence rather than going out on your own and creating a new sequence.
Yeah, Michael.
Yeah.
So,
I
we
was
go.
gonna say.
Yeah, great job. Look at that.
Do competitions at the cons,
That would be sick.
and if they beat you, they get one. They get the one that they did on you, which no one will beat you.
No one will beat you.
I don't worry. I got this. He's
Yeah,
upset with me.
come
He's-
back tomorrow.
He's disappointed.
Yeah.
Hold on a sec.
Oh boy.
Here we go.
yeah.
Oh.
I promise you, audience, it's way easier than what
Oh.
I
it
know.
is. It is much easier.
Well,
Oh, dude, they're booing you. Oh man.
You have to follow the Piezas style, not the Teofilo style.
yes, definitely don't follow my style.
Oh. Yeah, if you can just rewind the tape, slow it down, follow Josh step by step.
Yeah, there. Or you can go to my website. I have video instructions there. I am also going to make an even better video instruction. I'm told if we get onto Amazon, when we start doing Amazon.
Yeah, we can help.
Oh, hell
with
yeah.
that for sure.
Yeah. So.
Oh, I'm messing it up right now.
It's all right, buddy.
I definitely messed it up. Am I missing anything here?
Yeah. Here, let me show you. So, well, you got a little bit way ahead of me.
Yeah.
So
Let the
I'm trying
master
to-
show how it's done.
Yeah, you know what? I think one of the things that we should not do is insert these first. So the after you build the box,
I
like
messed it up.
this part. Oh, no.
He's upset.
I think it's more just disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take this apart.
Oh,
Rebuild it.
man. It's all
all
right.
right.
It's all right.
I had fun.
Yeah, me too.
Oh,
So
this is how it's supposed to look.
this is
Yeah,
the way
yeah,
it's supposed to look. I promise you can all do it.
Yes.
I promise you can
I
all
have
do
done
it.
And I
I've
use
seen Michael
actually-
do it, yes.
I've even used the steps that are given here to help
Yes.
me.
Successful.
I didn't use them this time. It's been a while.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you're trying to go for gold. You know, you took the leap, tried to
Yeah.
beat Josh,
Yeah.
down.
Oh
Knocked
god.
you down.
I was in the majors, and then they just
Yeah.
were like, "No, dude,
Yeah,
you're
you
going
gotta-
to
you
double
gotta
A
sit
right
down,
now.
yeah.
You're not even going to triple A. Like you're going down." But cool, dude. I really appreciate you coming in. Where can people find you?
So I am. My website is
microphone, Josh.
sorry.
Yeah,
My
there it
website
is.
is ShadowPopDisplays.com. That's my e-commerce site. I'm on Instagram at ShadowPop Displays. My kids say that they're gonna get me on TikTok, which
Yeah.
is
Definitely.
yes, that I got to be on TikTok.
You do.
Yeah, and then I will keep you abreast of what shows that I'll be at.
Yes.
In person. So you can come down if you're, the next shows that I'm going to be at is in Babylon, New York.
Oh, cool.
It's called, I think it's the Hot Flip Show. That's this Sunday. And then I'm going to be at the Super Jersey Comic Show in
Wow.
Jackson, New Jersey, which is right by Great Adventure. And I will have there our giant life-size ShadowPop display.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
that I
I've been in that
encourage
thing.
everyone to come down. You can get a
Nice
photo
photo.
of yourself in a giant life-size ShadowPop.
It's
Yeah.
fun.
It's super cool.
I wish we had one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
One day.
One day, yes.
You
So-
could never build it, though.
no.
So the large ShadowPop is the steel one.
yeah.
And my next one that I think I want to do is this brick version,
Yeah.
a life-size brick
Yeah.
version.
Definitely.
I think that would be super cool.
Yeah.
So
It would be. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
bye.